Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Tuesday, the 29th of July 2025. So the dollar ripped higher as we expected yesterday with the trade deal being complete with Europe. Gold dips on trade deals, which you'd expect because there's the uncertainty at this point has been removed. Momentum, memes and most shorted dump into crazy week. Crazy week being the CPI and the non-farm payrolls to be released this week, of course. US stocks finished mixed as markets digested the EU-US trade deal, and then the dollar was bid while the EU sinks as trade deal benefits the US dollar, which of course we would expect it to. Economic news today, we've got the JOLTS numbers, we have the ADP tomorrow, which we do, and then you'll see there's the ADP, and then we get the non-farm payrolls on Friday, so it's a full week. And then of course interspersed into this we've got the FOMC meeting minutes as well to be released and announced on Wednesday, and the press conference to follow as well. Right, let's have a look at the market's reaction to this EU-US trade deal and kick off with the Dow. So in the Dow yesterday, the market closing below the 5-bar moving average in the daily chart, but then closing back or trading back above that as I actually record here this morning. So 45,135 is the all-time high. Bit of a blip there yesterday for the market's 30-minute chart. You can see that the futures moved down. The cash market didn't help matters. But overnight, now this is established, the market is starting to move back to the upside, and of course the US dollar also finding support as well. Meanwhile, in Europe, the market is stuck in a sideways trading range there. Yesterday didn't help at all, and you can see the market coming down and finding support in the daily chart, and overnight prices also starting to turn around and move back off the 50 EMA there. In the 30-minute chart, you can see yesterday we started to move up in the pre-market session and then into the start of the cash market, but then it was let's sell into this. This deal is not a good deal. I don't think there's any good deals, to be honest with you. And you see the market then moving off the low overnight and sitting at the close at the moment. If we break yesterday's low, go back to the daily chart, then all things change here. As far as getting back to those all-time highs, we'll be heading back down to the lows here that we saw back in June the 23rd to be precise, just over a month ago. So yeah, not looking a bit weakish there for the DAX. Needs to turn around and move back if it's any chance of getting back above the all-time high that it made at 24,644. Meanwhile, the S&P continues to move to the upside. Didn't even turn red yesterday. 6423.7 there. You can see the market moving up. And then the 30-minute chart, you'll see that from the longer term chart, we had a bit of a pullback yesterday, but it still didn't break the 5-bar, didn't close below the 5-bar moving average there, despite its move to the downside yesterday. It just gets a bit more choppier when you get into the cash market times. Overnight, though, the market back towards the DP and the close. And in the UK, well, same thing really, suffered. Starmer was with Trump yesterday, and you can see the market down, made him look a complete tool, which he is. Market then sideways overnight. That Trump making Starmer look an absolute tool, and Sadiq Khan as well. Just says it as it is. If there's one thing I'll give him credit for, he just tells them what they're really like. And that was, I have to say, a bit of a political diversion here. That was entertaining, the fact that Trump suggested that we don't have free speech, and then Starmer trying to backtrack and say that we do, when we don't. If you have a different opinion about anything at the moment politically, then you're going to get a smack on the wrist or a visit from the old Bill. But anyway, I digress. So the FT100 under pressure there yesterday, and then moving up last night there above the close, finding a bit of support. Let's have a look at the US dollar. This was a star performer yesterday, but what's really important about this is it's just traded back up to where we have some resistance, and this could be the last of what we see on the upside, unless we head up to either here or here. if there's enough momentum surrounding these deals. We probably will as we get past the 1st of August, when all of these trade deals come into take effect, which is going to be Friday. Wow, that's going to be a day, isn't it? We've got non-farm payrolls. We've got the FOMC tomorrow evening. So non-farm payrolls and the date for no turning back for as far as the trade deals, because when they all come into effect. So that will be an interesting one on Friday, just keeping that in mind. Right, let's have a look at the metals reaction to this yesterday. And in the silver market, in fairness, given the big move in the US dollar yesterday, this could have been monkey hammered. And yet it wasn't, and we're back above the 5-bar moving average there as well. Sorry, the 20-bar moving average, the green line, which is very, very interesting. So we'll look at this in a bit more detail in the 30 minutes, and we had the usual London slam, they can't help themselves. And then the market finding support overnight as well. So what started out as a weakish day is showing a lot of support to the upside. Also a lot of volume there as well in this bar, and the market not going down, nearly the equivalent of the previous days as well. So there was quite a bit of buying around there, some good support. In the gold market, different game there. The market continuing to move down, sitting at about an 89% retracement, isn't it? Yeah, bang on. It came down to this yesterday. Markets are now bouncing off that. And in the 30-minute chart, again, you've got the London fix. It is a fix. You can see there prices being moved to the downside and then pushed back to the upside there. Right, let's have a look at the gold-silver ratio. And surprisingly, again, silver coming off better. We've got a red candle in there. And it is a surprise, and also encouraging to see that silver didn't sell off with that big move in the US dollar yesterday, which either the market says, this move in the dollar's nonsense, but they would have taken advantage of that any other time. They certainly would, and actually slam the price down. So that's good news. Right, let's have a look at the market action for yesterday in the German DAX 2-minute chart. So in the pre-market, it was wild to start with. As you can see there, the market trading up to the 2450 50 area there. So 24,550 is what it is. And then the market pulling back to the 200. But then once we got into the cash market, the selling came in. We took out the 200 MA. The averages all swung there and changed apart from the 200 MA, and then you just see them all heading in the south direction all the way down to the high where it found a bit of support, and then prices just traded down towards the high and the close. For some unknown reason, it stopped drawing the bars on the chart there, but they'll catch up in a moment, and you'll see that as we move forward. And there we go. So then we took out the high and traded all the way down to the psychological level, and then the market moving back on a bounce up to the 50, up towards the high and the close, but failed to hold above this level, with prices having another look at it before then resuming to the downside mid-morning. And there you can see down to the DP, get your selling there, you've got a bit of buying there, and then again coming back in here just before a couple of hours before the Dow opens, and there you can see we move all the way down to the S1 and then retest the S1 and beyond, and then trade sideways waiting for the US markets. Obviously under immense pressure yesterday. You can see them trying to buy back at the low. This also fails, and then prices continue to the downside down to the S2, where prices then find a bit of support, move back up with a short-term buy signal, and then the same on the downside. That's when the volatility actually subsided. It took most of yesterday before that actually happened. And then into the evening, the market just trading sideways at the S2, finding resistance there, and then moving back to the downside, as we see there. But overnight, prices are starting to move to the upside, which we can see there at the moment. Having got out the bad news from yesterday, coming to terms with it, and we'll soon see a bit of support coming in there. DP is the first upside target, which is 150 points away there. So on the downside, let's just have a double check if we go through the close. Where is yesterday's low? So yeah, keep an eye on both the the DP and the close as the opening salvo for today. Right, that's it for this one. Let's see what happens. Keep in mind the FOMC meeting minutes tomorrow night, and I say the big one on Friday really is the implementation of the trade tariffs to all of the other countries, 1st of August, and also the non-farm payroll. So expect a lot of volatility further into the week. Right, that's it. Have a good day, and as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.